अमेरिका और भारत साथ मिलकर काम करते हैं, यानी मागा प्लस मीगा, तब बन जाता है मेगा पार्टनरशिप for prosperity.
Mr. President, you spoke about Prime Minister Modi as a tough negotiator. Who was a tougher negotiator today and who has a better negotiating tactic when it comes to tariffs?
Oh, he's a much tougher negotiator than me, and he's a much better negotiator than me. There's not even a contest. Okay?
A handshake, a hug, and a $500 billion hope. Prime Minister Modi's United States trip to meet President Donald Trump lays down a blueprint for both nations to boost their bilateral trade, with India vowing to cut down on the high trade deficit by hiking their energy imports from the United States. The two leaders met at the White House hours after President Trump pledged to impose reciprocal tariffs against nations who impose high tariffs on American imports, but stopped short of enacting it. Instead, he signed an order that mandates that his administration submit a report by the 1st of April. Trump also urged India to reduce tariffs and batted for a level playing field, while also welcoming recent measures by India to lower tariffs. Trump's nudge notwithstanding, the personal chemistry between the two leaders was palpable during the bilaterals. Later, at the presser, President Trump said United States would be boosting their military sales to India, including those of F-35 jets. However, the Indian government said that no formal process on acquiring F-35 jets have been initiated yet. Prime Minister Modi, meanwhile, said that both nations would work towards signing an agreement that helps them double bilateral trade to $500 billion by 2030.
ये बहुत ही सुखद संयोग है।
Great honor to have Prime Minister Modi. Congratulations on having done a great job. India imposes a 30 to 40 to 60 and even 70% tariff on so many of the goods, and in some cases far more than that. And as an example, a 70% tariff on U.S. cars going into India, which makes it pretty much impossible to sell those cars. India's been to us just about the highest tariffed nation anywhere in the world. They've been very strong on tariffs, and I don't blame them necessarily, but it's a different way of doing business. It's very hard to sell into India because they have trade barriers, very strong tariffs.
आज हमने द्विपक्षीय व्यापार को 2030 तक 2 गुना से भी अधिक बढ़ाकर $500 बिलियन तक पहुंचाने का लक्ष्य निर्धारित किया है। हमारी टीमें एक पारस्परिक लाभकारी ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट को शीघ्र संपन्न करने पर काम करेगी।
Today, the Prime Minister and I are announcing a framework to strengthen those ties even further economically, and the U.S.-India Compact for the 21st century is a historic initiative that will deepen every aspect of our partnership and our friendship. Starting this year, we'll be increasing military sales to India by many billions of dollars. We're also paving the way to ultimately provide India with the F-35 stealth fighters.
I don't think with regard to the acquisition of an advanced aviation platform by India, that process has started as yet. So this is currently something that's at the stage of a proposal, but I don't think the formal process in this regard has started as yet.
And we want, really, we want a certain level playing field, which we really think we're entitled to, and he does also, in fairness. So we're going to work on that very hard, and we can make up the difference very easily with the deficit, with the sale of oil and gas, LNG, of which we have more than anybody in the world.
We are a significant purchaser of U.S. energy in any case. I think last year we purchased about $15 billion in U.S. energy output. There is a good chance that this figure will go up to as much as $25 billion in the near future. And so therefore we are a significant producer. It is entirely possible that these increased energy purchases will contribute to impacting the deficit between the two countries.
A lot of important announcements there from the leaders of India and the United States. Parikshit Luthra joins us from Washington, D.C. Parikshit, trade, tariffs, defense ties, both nations have pledged to turn the page on a host of important issues.
Yes, the big headline on trade is that both countries have agreed to sign the first tranche of a mutually beneficial multi-sector bilateral trading agreement by the fall of 2025. What's the low-hanging fruit that Donald Trump was looking for in order to reduce the trade deficit of $35 to $40 billion? One is defense. The joint statement outlines how India could procure 6 additional P-8I maritime patrol aircraft from the US, how we could expand sales and co-production of defense systems such as the Javelin anti-tank missile and the Striker system as well. There is also going to be negotiations on reciprocal defense procurement, and US has also announced a review of its policy on releasing 5th generation fighters and undersea systems. Trump said that eventually the defense talks are going to lead to F-35 sales to India, but the foreign secretary said not yet. A lot of formal steps have to be taken before any process is also initiated for buying or acquiring fighter jets of that kind, and none of that has already happened. Energy was a big one, with the foreign secretary saying that if energy imports from the US were to the tune of $15 billion last year in 2024, very soon it could even touch $25 billion.
Right, thank you for that, Parikshit. Well, Parikshit has also been catching up with key industry representatives, senior journalists, to get a sense of Trump's tariff playbook. Here's what they had to say.
You know, I think as much as India might put on the table in preparation for the joint statement today, India still has relatively high customs duties and also a lot of other barriers to trade. The quality control orders, some of the price controls that have been adopted. So something tells me India's not going to avoid altogether getting hit by this global tariff war.
Whether India agrees to lower its tariffs or, you know, there is a retaliatory kind of action, that all will depend on how the negotiation goes. I mean, at this point, I would imagine that all options are open. And if the you know, one possibility is that US gives us some good market access and we give US good market access. This is a win-win. In this case, we are lowering our tariffs on the US goods, and US is lowering some of the tariffs on what we export to the US. That's a win-win.
I think he has been talking about it for some time, and he decided that today is scheduled to sign it. It's not targeted towards India or any specific countries. It's targeted to everybody. If you are charging 5% tariff on my goods, I will charge you 5%. If you're charging 50%, I will charge you 50%. So I think this was a way to basically negotiate with other countries and bring equality to the whole tariff system.
A lot of folks on Wall Street were expecting immediate tariffs today, and what we learned earlier in the day on Thursday was that, in fact, no, this is not an immediate implementation of tariffs. What this is a study to figure out how to do these tariffs with every country around the world. They're issuing the study. That'll be completed by April 1st, and then by April 2nd, they say they'll be in position to actually implement tariffs that execute on that date. We'll see, though. My expectation is what this tees up is a massive negotiation around the world as every country comes to the West Wing to try to work out trade deals individually, one-on-one. What Donald Trump wants is to be the deal maker in chief, and this is his opportunity to go country by country and cut a new set of deals. This gives him a lot of wiggle room in terms of those negotiations, but it also means that tariffs are not coming in place today as we stand here now, which was something that Wall Street was frankly concerned about.
The Prime Minister Narendra Modi insisted that he did not discuss the bribery charges leveled against billionaire Gautam Adani by the US government during his meeting with the US President Donald Trump. Calling the case an individual or personal matter, the Prime Minister said that two prominent leaders don't meet to discuss such issues.
Can I ask whether you discussed at all today the case of Gautam Adani, who's one of the wealthiest men in Asia and perceived as an ally of Prime Minister Modi? Prime Minister Modi, have you asked the President to take action on that case? Thank you.
पहली बात है, भारत एक लोकतांत्रिक देश है और हमारे संस्कार, हमारी संस्कृति वसुधैव कुटुंबकम की है। हम पूरे विश्व को अपना एक परिवार मानते हैं। हर भारतीय को मैं अपना मानता हूं। दूसरी बात है, ऐसे व्यक्तिगत मामलों के लिए दो देश के मुखिया न मिलते हैं, न बैठते हैं, न बात करते हैं।
Prime Minister Modi also met tech billionaire Elon Musk and his family at the Blair House in Washington, D.C. In a post on X, PM Modi said he was delighted to meet Elon Musk and his family. He added that they discussed a wide range of subjects, including space, mobility, tech and innovation. Prime Minister Modi also spoke about India's efforts towards reform and furthering minimum government, maximum governance. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump reacted to the meeting between Musk and PM Modi, and he added that he assumes Musk wants to do business in India.
They met, and I assume he wants to do business in India. But India is a very hard place to do business in because of the tariffs. They have the highest tariffs just about in the world, and it's a hard place to do business. No, I would imagine he met possibly because, you know, he's running a company. He's doing this as something that he's felt strongly about for a long time because he sees what's happening and he sees how the country is really being hurt badly by all of the fraud, waste and abuse. Yeah.
All right, on that note, it's time for a short break, but more news and updates continue right here. Stay tuned.